Turns out, Spring, all you had to do is to get the power play that was ice cold, 31st in the National Hockey League going into tonight's game at 10.3% on the man up. All you had to do was had them play 2 games against the best penalty kill unit in the National Hockey League in the first 10 games of the season, that being the #1 team in the National Hockey League, the New Jersey Devils, in terms of both points and penalty kill percentage, going into the night at 95.3%. But the Avs, a scorching hot 4 of 6 on the extra man opportunity. They score 8 goals tonight, including the first 3 goals of Victor Olofsson's Colorado Avalanche career, a hat trick on home ice, and the Avs bounce back after losing 4 straight.
Yeah, here's what I was going to say right off the bat, talking about the power play, and I love it when our viewers, our listeners are in sync with us. Val on PP1 equals PP alive, and that's exactly what I was thinking.
You've been asking for it for weeks.
It started in the third period of the Carolina game, and Val scored. Now they go 1 of 8 overall in that game, but 1 of 3, maybe 4, I don't know, in the third period of that game. But that's when it started. And I know you were out this weekend, but the 2 power plays they had in New Jersey, and it was really just 3 minutes of power play time, because one of them was just after a 4-on-4, but it looked better. And here tonight, there is no coincidence that putting Valeri Nichushkin in the middle of that ice changed a lot of things. It's just physicality. You saw him. He had a bumper shot where he got on his knee and knuckled it off the post. But it's not just that. He gives them a legitimate middle of the ice presence. And then, let's go through these one by one. The power play goals, all the goals. The first one, and this happened this weekend too. Nathan MacKinnon scored a net front goal. Now it was 5-on-5. Here on the first power play goal, it's Necas on that left wing. MacKinnon is your net front presence. Hey, I guess now that, Mikko's gone and they're going to move Nate around, guess what, Nathan MacKinnon? You're learning net front. And but Marty Necas can do that, man. He's got that left wing shot. It's not, we saw Nate's tonight. Nate's is lethal, but Necas can score from that area as well.
He certainly can score from that area, but I do want to give you your props. How does that goal start? So let's go through the 4 power play goals to begin this. We'll then get into Bardakov. We'll get into the even strength goals scored by Parker Kelly, and then Victor Olofsson to cap it off for his hat trick at the end of the third period to double up that score. Again, it was 5-0 at one point, and then very quickly got to 5-4. So we're going to get into all of this today, but we'll start with those power play goals. And how does that first power play goal start? The Avs have to find a bumper play, and who comes in from the far side of the ice is a left-handed shooting Val Nichushkin down on the goal line, where we used to see Mikko Rantanen do that cheeky little offhanded chip tip on the goal line, which is like, I've practiced that so many times, either with myself or with players that I've coached in the past. Like, it's so hard not to put a puck into your own teeth doing that. If you guys understand the left-handed shot on the left side of the net, trying to tip the puck back across your body. Rantanen's good at. The best in the world is Sidney Crosby. That's where Nichushkin is to start that power play, and he cuts back across the ice. MacKinnon and Nate just switch a little bit, puts Nate back down onto the goal line, and Nate just has to find the bumper spot, right? So he goes down to Val. Val one touches it out. It goes back up to Cale Makar, who hangs on to the puck. And that's one thing that I wanted to make sure that I make a point of. The first 2 power plays of the game, the first one was successful. The second and the third were not. They scored on the final 3 power plays of the game that they had on this evening. Cale hangs on to the puck significantly longer on the first 2 power plays, which forces New Jersey's defense to suck out to him. And I don't think he was doing it early on in the season, Spring. I think he was just snapping stuff. Get the puck up to me, make them move a little bit, and then right back down to Nate, right? Get it back to 29 as soon as humanly possible. That's all fine and dandy. Nate's one of the best players in the world. Cale Makar is as well. And he has 4 points tonight on the power play as a result. He hangs onto the puck. he stretches out the defense, and that allows him to go back down to Natchez to fire home that one-timer. And the same exact thing happened on Nathan McKinnon's power play goal.
Yeah, and their best setups are when they are, whether it's Natchez or in this instance McKinnon going low, it's McCarr all by himself up top. There's a lot of times you'll see Natchez up there or McKinnon up there on the high left wing with McCarr on the high right side.
Yep.
McCarr's at his best when it's just him and he has options, one option left, one option right, two down the middle. And in this instance, it's Nathan McKinnon of all people as your deep screener. But yeah, Marty Natchez can rip that puck, and you're right. Kale with the patience and the time, and he's not, snapping things, and he's able to assess. That's where he's at his best. How about the second power play goal? So this is 5-on-3. Very early into this power play, Nathan McKinnon gets tripped by Dougie Hamilton, the old can opener. And what's very interesting about this one, so in the 8 seconds or so of original 5-on-4 power play time, it's your usual group. But for some reason, because it's 5-on-3 now, the coaching staff decides we're going to take Natchez off and we're going to put Brock Nelson in.
It's a lot of meat in front of the net, man. 6'4", 215 with Val, 6'3", 200 and plus with Brock.
Do you think that is because there's only 3 penalty killing bodies and they just really wanted to screen Markstrom and get tight and instead of, if there's 4 penalty killers, I get the wider strategy, but if you only have 3 penalty killers, you do kind of want to tighten things up a little bit. And when McKinnon scores on the shot from the left side, you can see both Nichushkin and Nelson occupying area around the crease.
Yeah, they're right there. On the 5-on-3, you have to pack in the house as a kill unit, right? You are playing inside the dots, if not inside the hash marks as a 5-on-3, and you work as pistons, right? So if you have 2 guys in front of the net and 1 guy up top, you're not going back and forth necessarily as that guy on top. Sometimes you're working down and up, and then the weak side D, if the puck goes across, the weak side D pops up, and then you make this little adjustment where the winger drops down and this short side defenseman swings over, and you kind of do this little piston motion to go in front on those one-time shooters. It's very, very difficult to defend, and as a result, I think if you start packing in the house, as an offensive coach, I'd rather see bigger bodies there to take advantage of all that chaos in the front. And also you can worry on 5-on-3s about having like too many cooks in the kitchen, right? Too many offensive studs. Honestly, you know what it screams to me, and I think this is something that Jared Bednar needs to bring into 3-on-3 overtime. Sometimes there's too much space for both Marty Natchez and Nathan McKinnon to be on the ice. Sometimes there's too much time with the puck. And I think taking him off the 5-on-3 power play in exchange for 2, I'm not saying they're not good hockey players, but like lesser skilled players in Nelson and
but who serve a different role and excel maybe at that role better.
Right. And you know what those guys aren't going to do on that power play all that often? Touch the puck. And that's okay.
You don't need them to.
And that's what I think they need to bring to 3-on-3, right? I think Nate can be fine at 3-on-3. But he needs to be paired with the right guys. He needs to be paired with someone who doesn't need the puck.
I think 2 of their turnovers, 3-on-3 in overtime, have been McKinnon Natchez, like 1 each. 1 McKinnon, 1 Natchez. It's been each of them, and I agree with that. And it's kind of what I said on the power play. That being said, though, now that they've inserted Nichushkin and they're getting more used to this system, it's starting to work. And now we can go to the third power play goal where McKinnon scores again on the left wing. And this time it's Natchez net front. And, I've been critical of him net front, but guess what? You're 11 games in now. You're starting to get a little better. You're starting to be a little more heady. And you have Nichushkin there too to kind of help you out as well now. And this is, McKinnon on the left wing, man, this is the one that just vaporizes through Jacob Markstrom, right?
Yep.
Like, I don't even know how that got through him. It's like the puck disintegrated through his chest. I mean, what a rip from Nathan McKinnon.
Yeah, there's some shots that in the league when players hammer it, you're not stopping it. It is the one timer from Steven Stamkos back in the day. Anytime that Ovi's scored any one of his 900 goals or whatever, I'm sure he's got 600 from a one time spot. The ESPN did a really fun. It was either ESPN or Sports Illustrated did like a really fun run through of how many goals he scored on the power play on one timers from his office. There's certain players around the league that if they connect, you're not stopping it. Like Shea Weber back in the day taking a 104-mile-an-hour clapper from the top of the blue line. Like you just sometimes don't have a chance. Nate's power play goal to make it 6-4 not only, I think, restored confidence in the fact that you were going to win the game, but I think you needed to have that third power play goal in to go, okay, it's not a fluke. Okay, we've kind of broken the dam a little bit that had settled in for the first 10 games.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is a 5-4 game, start of the third period at this point. And the power play, I mean, you needed a third. Excuse me, this was late second period, excuse
Yeah,
me,
like
but
4.5 minutes
nonetheless,
to go in the second.
nonetheless, 5-4. Like New Jersey's back in this thing. And I think and it's the goal that scored just before that really was because that fucking Jack Hughes play.
Dude, it is there's a certain amount of people around the league that think this is how the hierarchy of the National Hockey League goes. Connor McDavid or Nathan McKinnon 1-2, and then Jack Hughes. And there's some plays that Jack Hughes makes where I go, I can see it. And that fourth goal was a play that made me go, he might be the third best player in the world.
that was not. Like Jack Hughes' back.
But holy crap, is he good?
Yeah, that was a Jack Hughes' back play. I mean, between the legs, drop pass, no look, and then to immediately occupy a one-time position, short side, down low on the right wing. Oh, what a play by, and that is really oh shit time, but you get another power play goal. And it is amazing how the special teams and the Avs have been excellent 5-on-5 all season long and again tonight. But you need the power play to bail you out. Not all the time, but from time to time, and a significant amount, a relatively significant amount of time. And tonight it did. And that gives you the 2-goal lead right back. And you're able to take a deep breath, and the Devils don't score the rest of the game.
Yeah, that's man, it is a weight off of your chest. It is the monkey off of your back that you see a lot of players go through these stretches 10 games into a season where they're just fighting it and they haven't found a way to score. Then you see that celebration where you literally throw the monkey off of your shoulders. You absolutely had to have it tonight. And New Jersey's no joke of a team. Like, this is not the New Jersey Devils of 6 years ago, of 7 years ago. New Jersey is a legit contender in the Eastern Conference. With how injured Florida is, who knows what you're going to get at Matthew Tkachuk when he comes back from his injuries in February. I expect him to be back in the same mean motherfucker that he is in the playoffs every year. But, like, losing Sasha Barkov is absolutely gigantic. Massive. It is that guy is such a good hockey player. And he's not going to be around. So therefore, I'm not counting out Florida. Therefore, that makes the Eastern Conference wide open to me. And I think if you look at the powers that be right now, New Jersey's certainly one of them.
Yeah, it all hinges on Jack Hughes' health and whether or not he can regain that form when he was really healthy before a couple of shoulder injuries he sustained. And it's funny, I mentioned the Landeskog hit on Hughes early on Sunday, and watching a replay of it again, because it was such a weird hit. Like, Jack Hughes just goes down. He just, because he knows I cannot afford.
No, he can't.
To get hit into the boards, into my shoulder, which is where I've had issues. And that's why that hit looks so wonky. Now, goaltending is another issue with the Devils. I don't think they have great goaltending. What's funny about Jacob Markstrom tonight is he wasn't great, but then he actually made some big saves as this game went along. That being said, they have goaltending issues. Markstrom, to me, is like Darcy Kemper light. And I don't know if you can get it done with Darcy Kemper light.
You got it done with Darcy Kemper.
But the light version of him, you're right, you did. But that means that Jack Hughes has to be Nathan McKinnon. And he can. He's got to stay healthy. He's on his bulldoggy. But he's got that silk.
No, he doesn't. He's nowhere near the level of physical that Nathan McKinnon is.
Yeah.
They are vastly different players. I just look at what Jack does with the puck, and what he does at full speed. There's not a lot of players in the world that can do at full speed what he does with the puck. I think you're going to be wowed with him as an American player at the Olympics in February. You're going to love having him on your team, American fans. I don't know if he can impact a season as much as Nathan can at this point in his career. And we gotta remember Jack Hughes is still a very, very young player. If he packs on a little bit of poundage, if he starts to get that snarl that some players are able to kind of grow into, maybe he changes things. All I know is that he's special, and I like watching him. It's a shame that we don't get to see the Devils for the rest of the season. Like, the next time we get to see the Devils is a Stanley Cup final, hopefully. But those were two fun games back to back. You get 3 of a possible 4 against New Jersey, and you know what? I take that.
Well, and one thing I was thinking tonight too is they end up winning by 4, even though it was a 5-4 game in the later stages of the second. They end up winning by 4 on their home ice, and then for the Avs on Sunday, a second day of a back-to-back, they get a point. They force overtime. So when you look at the aggregate of this home and home, it's far more impressive. Like, Colorado wins that thing. I mean, obviously they win it points wise because they get 3 points. New Jersey gets 2, but you consider that Colorado played on Saturday, and then they lose by 1 in overtime on Sunday. Now they're going to beat you by 4 on their home ice. And you can look at the Utah. It wasn't a direct home and home, but you beat Utah on your ice in regulation 2-1, but still in regulation. And then you get a point in Utah. So the Avs, they're in these 2 matchups we've seen with, 2 teams where it's 1 in their building, 1 in the Avs building. They have gotten 3 points. The opponent has only gotten 2.
And those 2 teams are both at the top of their respective conferences. Utah leading the West and New Jersey leading the East.
So it's impressive. Like, that to me is impressive. I take note of stuff like that.
Have you guys noticed that Colorado so they've lost 5 games. They have lost the 5 games by a combined 5 goals.
Yes.
Every single one of their losses has been a 1-goal loss. Yeah,
thanks to an Arturi Lehkonen goal in Boston with 20 seconds to go. They lose 3-2. And 6-1-4. Interesting. I mean, 5-1-4 was an interesting record coming into tonight because it's the 4, right? 6-1-4.
Yeah, hockey 500. Or
you know what?
Hold on. Hockey 500 is like 5-5-3, where you're under 500 technically, but you're not really under 5.
Yeah, that third column kind of muddies things, but those are still 4 points, and didn't have to mess around with any of that after regulation tonight because of the power play. And
all right,
go ahead.
Let's talk about the 4-minute stretch between 10:08 in the second period and 14:12 of the second period, where Colorado goes from being up 5-0 to being up by a butt-clenching 5-4. And you can just feel the momentum turning. And New Jersey does this all at 5-on-5, which is just as terrifying, right? Because you can feel the power play coming. You can feel the next time that a special teams unit has to come on the ice, it's going to be you killing this thing off up by 1, having this lead just fall far, far away. I want to know what you saw on it. Obviously, the first goal is it's a really bad turnover from Brent Burns, and it ends up in the back of your net. I can't really do anything for Scott Wedgwood there. It's a really solid shot from Stefan Noesen, the little snapshot across his body against the grain on the blocker. It's kind of the exact shot that we saw Victor Olofsson score on, just going that little blocker dot shot. I can't really fault the goaltender there, and I don't think I can fault him on the Dougie Hamilton goal either, because he stops the original grade A scoring opportunity. It's just a weird bounce.
Yeah, I mean, that was a roller coaster, and roller coaster isn't even the right word. That was like a hyper speed Like I felt like I was in the Millennium Falcon and we just went into whatever speed they go where it's like, whoa. I mean, that was like, what the fuck is happening? I in a large sense, what I think happened there, because the Avs were up 5-0 and the Avs were really pushing offensively. They were selling out. I mean, the fifth goal they score, Parker Kelly gets ahead of the defense. That's a fourth line player. They know they've lost 4 straight. They know they're on their home ice. They want to get out on breaks. And I just think, and look at the Olofsson goal where he kind of gets ahead of everyone. And real quick, shout out to Jack Ashawn. Thought he played well tonight, because he had that assist on the Olofsson mini breakaway goal. If I'm comparing Solovyov to Ashawn, Ashawn's your leader in the clubhouse right now. Solovyov has played okay, admirably considering the role, which is 6D, but Ashawn had a good little game. But again, the Kelly goal, the Olofsson goal, they were trying to get out on the break. So I think that the ice just opened up. And even when the Avs were up 5-0, they did not go into pack it down defense mode. I mean, we weren't even midway through the second period when Kelly scores. We hadn't even reached the 10-minute mark of the second period. So I don't think the Avs were slowing down. They were still pushing. And you want to know what happens when you do that is chaos can happen the other way. And everything it evened out there for a second. The chips just kind of started to fall the other way. I think it was an Avs staying aggressive thing, which I don't hate. I don't hate that at all.
No, I don't either. Again, I think the first 2 goals are really unfortunate turnover and weird bounce off of what was originally an awesome grade A save from Wedgwood. And it just happens to bounce up, and the only person who sees it is 6'6" Dougie Hamilton, and he grabs a glove on it and throws it to his stick, and one hand taps in. It's like a very, very skilled play for a D-man to make. I think if he tries that, 10 times, I think he connects on it 3 out of 10, 4 out of 10. He makes that exact perfect play and it goes in the back of the net. I think a few other times he misses the puck, maybe he throws it down, it bounces over his twig, or he misses the one touch and he ends up just kind of throwing it into the net and it gets waved off. The Burns penalty, or rather the Burns turnover, I don't think happens. I do believe they got caught puck watching significantly on the Darcy Mercer goal. That is, for me, a horrible back check from Marty Necas. He was supposed to be the second forward back in the zone. I didn't see him hustle through the neutral zone, and then when he got into the defensive zone, he's the first guy back. So a lot of people think like, hey, that's the middle of the ice. Shouldn't that be Nate's guy? No, it's the next guy back into the zone, and then you figure out your defensive structure. You get to the middle, you pack the house, and then you figure out your structure afterward, especially on a back check when it's an odd man rush like that. Nate just wasn't going to the house. I need him to get to the house, get to Mercer, and he probably breaks up that goal. The Hughes goal is insane. I don't know what you're gonna do, man.
No. I mean, and that's, I know that Jack Hughes, let's see, he assists on the Hamilton goal, but like you said, that is really just a blocked puck in front that bounces perfectly to Dougie's glove. And he makes a heady play, and he's a heady veteran. We know that about him. But the reason New Jersey is able to whip off 4 straight is because they have an X factor. They have a Jack Hughes who spreads the ice, who creates danger, and you see it on the goal that he scores. I think that Colorado probably, you're up 5-0, and you're like, there's no way. There's no way that these guys are going to do that. And then one bounce here, one bounce there. They just let up for half a second. There's a, I'm going to steal a Sean Payton word. You got your very nice throwback Denver Broncos hat on, because he was talking about when he threw Russell Wilson under the bus.
I'm glad you mentioned this because it's one of my favorite hats that I've ever purchased.
That's a really, look, any of that old school gear is tremendous, much like the Nordiques gear. Sean used the word the euphoria after the Giants game. I think there was a euphoria for the Avs being up 5-0 after and how about that Parker? Goodness gracious. I mean, the mitts on put Parker Kelly in the shootout.
The only
If
two
you
things that we haven't talked about are the 5-on-5 goals that Colorado scored today.
and
So
speaking of Sellies, and I wanted to bring up the Zakhar Bardakov goal.
I fucking love that guy, man. There is no energy in the sports world. You know what? I think there's one that comes close, but there's no energy in the hockey world that comes anywhere near the energy of a Russian dude who loves scoring goals. Nothing comes close to it. Like, Ovi's doing it at 40 years old, like he's 18 again. And when Bardakov scored, I was like, he feels like Alexander Ovechkin does. I'm not saying he's going to score 900 goals. He's not. He played like 8.5 minutes tonight. But his energy, man, every time he touches the puck and he's on the ice, I freaking love it. I want him and Gavin Brindley glued to each other's hips for the next 7 years.
Hey, it's a different type of energy when you could see how excited he was when he scored, but then to just jump into the glass, my man, he wanted to jump into the crowd. If that glass didn't exist, he would have jumped into the crowd, heads up for his skates, and he just wanted to crowd surf. Speaking of the crowd, there was that they kind of looked at it for a second, almost delay a game call. Shot puck tipped off of an Avs player's stick into the crowd. Some dude caught that in the face and he walked off. Like, I think maybe his girlfriend was with him, escorting him up the aisle with like his hand, maybe, and they already got him an ice pack on his face, but I think he gave like a thumbs up or something. Like, he was okay. When a fan is taking one for the team, you got to get the 2 points for him.
Yeah, he got some good vibes buzzing in the rink there.
Speaking of vibes,
do you think there's more energy from a Russian dude scoring a goal or a Dominican guy hitting a bomb?
it's very similar.
Like,
no, I know it's a great comparison.
The energies are so unbelievably similar. It's so infectious.
Yeah, I mean, look, when you're growing up and you're in those Russian hockey camps, it's your life, right?
Yeah,
it's your life.
That or the gulag, man.
It's either that or Vlad is, sending you to war. So
you make Ceska Moscow or you're going to the front line.
Exactly. Dude, I said it this week because there's one dude on New Jersey who he had a really nice goal, the first goal for New Jersey on Sunday. Skate to blade, boom, little snapshot, beat Trent Miner. Who was this dude? Arseny Gritsyuk. So he was a KHL guy, and I said, pour one out for the KHL. Can't bet on it anymore.
Yeah, what a shame.
But hey, speaking of Trent Miner, he's put on waivers today because Mackenzie Blackwood was the backup goaltender tonight. Do you think Trent Miner clears waivers? Like, my gut tells me no, because he showed well recently and teams need goaltending. But I'd love for him to clear. That'd be awesome if he does. He very well might.
I mean, if I'm a team in need of goaltending, like, dude, if I'm Edmonton, why not? If I'm Toronto, why not?
Saved all 20 shots against when in the relief appearance against Carolina, and then the Jack Hughes second goal was a little leaky, but he gets a point for Colorado in New Jersey on Sunday. Like, it's pretty good for an AHL guy. Like, that was a good little stretch for Trent Miner. I hope he clears, but I don't know if he will.
I expect him to clear, but if I'm another GM, dude, I'd probably stake a claim on that player just in case for goaltending depth. You never know what's gonna happen, especially for teams that are contending. You don't know if you're gonna, like, maybe you lose your backup one day and you weren't planning for that, and you have to
exactly
dig down deep into the AHL, and you go, crap, like, what happens if our starter gets hurt and we don't have a backup? And now we're looking at Andrew Hammond against the Nashville Predators. You guys remember that back in, was it 2017 or 2016 that happened? You don't necessarily want to be faced with that. So yeah, I agree with you, Spring. If I'm a GM around the league, I probably kick the tires on it if I have a roster spot. This was a good game for the Avs. There was a 5-minute lull that I didn't love. 2 of them felt fluky, and 2 of them felt like they were things that could have been fixed. For me, it was the Natchez back check, and the Olofsson forecheck before the Jack Hughes goal. I thought Olofsson didn't need to be as low and as wide as he was. Now he backchecked his ass off, like, and he's actually the player that spins and like faces Hughes as he makes the drop pass, and he's kind of caught in no man's land. It's not no man's land. He's just simply screwed in that position just because of the speed and the space that they have on the 3-on-2. He does a good job of getting back, but I think he could have killed that baby in the crib there if he was in the neutral zone instead of having to backcheck his ass off there. Kevin asks here, what does the Harley contract mean for Makar? Thomas Harley in Dallas ends up signing an 8-year extension at $10.5 million, if I'm correct. Off the top of my head, really good deal for the Canadian defenseman. I love that player. I think if the Avs could find a guy like him, you'd be sitting really pretty. I don't think Thomas Harley's contract affects Cale Makar's number at all, Kevin.
I mean, I think Cale is in a different stratosphere.
Yeah.
Like, I am concerned. And Harley's a good player. Let's see, 6'3".
Really good hockey player.
Yeah, big dude, but has offensive skill. Like, Taves is kind of the Avs Harley. He's not as big. Taves got his first point of the season on Sunday. It took him 10 games. And no points for Devon Taves tonight, but that's okay. He's playing well. That'll come. Cale Makar is like, I mean, he's one of the three best players in the league. Maybe 4 if you want to put Draisaitl in there. And he's a defenseman. So he's the one of the 4. You know who the other 2 are, who's a defenseman. So just because, Harley got 10.5, 10.59. When I saw the Kaprizov number, and I know that Connor McDavid took a hometown discount, but I think that that's its own entity. The Kaprizov 17 million scares me because Cale can get whatever the fuck he wants.
Let's put a pin in the Cale Makar conversation. Go back out to Ball Arena where DMAC is standing by. DMAC, what's up?
All right, guys. Notes from inside of the locker room. Jared Bednar was more happy than frustrated, despite an insane 4-minute period where Scott Wedgwood was facing fire, and you got to wonder how close Bedsy was actually to pulling Wedgie. But he said that it goes to Wedgwood's professionalism that he was able to calm down. The difference was the power play. They had 4 I'm sure you guys are talking all about it, but 4 power play goals on the year and 4 power play goals tonight. And the fact that they were able to, according to Bednar, shoot right away. They weren't hesitating. They were firing the puck, and that was apparently the biggest difference, according to Bednar. Cale Makar just said they got pissed off that, that's 5-0. And our own Connor McGahey said, and you guys can double-check his math, no team in NHL history has ever surrendered a 5-goal lead. At least that's what Connor said. And it got damn close and interesting. At the end of the day, Olofsson was picked up for this team, according to Bednar, because he is elite shooter. And if you just watch him and see how his goals go, that's why he's on this team. So certainly delivered on that tonight for a hat trick. And a side note in this wild 8-4 affair, Bernie was dressed up as Brett Burns. So he was Bernie Burnsy, wearing the beard and a big hat and a backpack because it's Halloween. What would have been a nightmare is if the Avs blew this game after leading 5-0, but the power play was the magic trick tonight. So the Avs walk away with a win. Bednar did say there was a certain amount of exhaustion from the road trip they were just on and could feel the guys stop skating when they were up 5-0, but they pulled it together well enough to be able to win. A complete day off tomorrow before the Avs get back at it. So at the end of the day, a great result. Unbelievably exciting game when you score 8 goals in one period, and the Avs skate away with an 8-4 win.
There he is, DMAC, live from Ball Arena. So McGahee's stat it's similar to what DMAC was saying. There have been, I want to say, like 8 instances. Let me count them here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Sorry, 10 instances in which a team has come back from a deficit of 5 goals. No more than 5, but they've come back from a 5-goal deficit. No time in NHL history has that score been 5-0 and a team has come back to win. So the most recent happening there was 2008. The Rangers came from, or rather the Canadiens came from behind against the New York Rangers to win 6-5 in a shootout.
Fucking 17 years.
Wait, how does that math? What, that math doesn't work then.
Wait, hold on.
6-5 in a shootout would mean you're down 5-0, right? All right, so never mind. It's happened once before.
Okay. Still,
wait, the Avs have done it. Okay, sorry. I'm looking at this on the fly, guys, so I apologize for my miscues here. This has happened a few times in NHL history, the way I'm looking at this. 6-5 win for Calgary over Toronto in overtime in 1987. That would tell you they were down 5-0, correct?
That would tell you that, yes.
A 6-5 win for Chicago over Calgary in 2009. They were down 5-0 in that game. I have a 7-5 victory over the Florida Panthers for the Avalanche back on March 3rd of 1999. That would tell you they were down 5-0 in that game. And then the aforementioned Montreal shootout win over the Rangers 6-5 on February 19th of 2008. So this has happened a few times in NHL history.
Well, I'm glad the Avs did not put themselves on that list in the negative category tonight. And and I've wanted to talk about them. And I saw a couple of comments in the chat earlier calling out, and you know me, you know I am critical of the 3 stars of the game. And they got them right. I disagree, chat. Victor Olofsson is the first star of the game. I mean, his first career hat trick. That's pretty. He's a goal scorer. He's Olofsson. And this was his first career hat trick. And, you know, I know there was a lot of good players tonight, but man, how could you not say, I mean, look at his 3 goals. Top shelf, far side on each of them, but the first 2 were from his usual right wing, but then the third one was he's coming in on the left wing. Great pass by Jack Drury. Good net front cut by Landeskog. I thought Landeskog, you know, he had the back check strip that led to, I think it was Olofsson's first goal. Then a Sean fed him. Landeskog, not as, you know, for a game where there's 8 goals and everyone's doing everything, Landeskog really wasn't much of a factor in this game, but he does have a couple plays. But Olofsson, I mean, that one from the left wing and the final one, far side, right side, top shelf. I mean, he's got a shot. I mean, that dude has a shot.
He certainly does, man. It's the reason why he was picked up. And I think the reason why Colorado picked him up is because of the defensive proficiency that he showed with Vegas. Am I saying he's, you know, an elite killer or an elite 5-on-5 defender? No, what I'm saying is that for some reason, when he left Buffalo, he showed the ability to be not a black hole. And that's what he was in Buffalo. It was like scoring the power play or you don't want the guy on the ice. And I don't feel that way about Olofsson right now. Like, sure, I mentioned on the Jack Hughes goal that I think he was out of position. He was too low on the forecheck. He did a great job of getting back. Like, he tried to cover up the mistake as best as he possibly could. Yeah, you mentioned the 3 stars. I believe Mikey Anton is the guy who chose that. He's the head of TPH, or head of hockey at TPH Academy in Littleton. He's a good dude and knows his hockey. So yeah, you got to give Victor Olofsson the first star. You don't miss that.
Easy decision. McCarr 3rd star, McKinnon 2nd star. Yep, I agree wholeheartedly. Olofsson wears 95. Burakovsky wore 95. There's some similarities there between those 2 players.
Yes, 100. I can see that. Yes. Berkey's
And
got a little bit more
Burakovsky was a
range.
huge reason they won a cup. Ultimately playing on that third line in the playoff run, and he had a shot, and he's a left-handed shot, but Burakovsky was like what, $4 or $5 million. Olofsson $1 million. And he was, snake bitten through the first 10 games, had almost 30 shots on goal, but no goals. He had created a couple goals. It evened out here tonight because he gets a hat trick, and they were all beautiful shots. Yeah, I was wondering why he was out there as long as he was on the open market, and that's the rest of the league just letting him go to the Avs for $1 million because he's played very well despite not scoring on a high shot percentage. It evened out, like I said. He's played well and he's got a shot.
What were your thought processes on Nichushkin, Nelson, Colton as a line tonight for 10 minutes?
Yeah, we said it. I said it early in the season, and I still believe it, even though Olofsson was in the bottom six and then popped into the top six there for a bit. And I don't know, they kind of switched the lines a little bit as this game went along. But I view Olofsson as a bottom six player. And granted, nice hat trick tonight, good player. I've said how well I thought Jack Drury has played this year. Ross Colton's their, and we said it early in the season, it's been the case. Ross Colton is their best bottom six player. So if you're going to elevate somebody into the top six, given that Landeskog's minutes are being managed and he's clearly not the best version of himself right now, then on paper, in a vacuum, and Ross has played very well this year.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, he had a post tonight. Yeah,
Ross is 4 posts. They could have scored like 12 goals tonight, dude.
Ross is the guy you elevate. Easy decision.
The line of Drury, Olofsson, Landeskog at 5-on-5 was not good.
Well, how much of that is Gabe? Because I thought the other two...
I don't know. It might be him.
Because the other two had moments where I was like, nice play, nice. And I mentioned a couple Landeskog plays, but outside of that, he's really...
He had that one puck carry through the neutral zone where he went wide, got a shot on goal, and I went, oh, he looks fast. And then it was a quick turnover. They had to come back, and he looked gassed.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised because he missed 3 years, but I am surprised because he looked damn good in the playoffs. And he looked pretty good in the first, let's call it 4 games, really until he got that goal taken back in Utah. Like, ever since that moment, Landeskog has just kind of been there. So I would point to that. And trust me, man, there's no bigger Gabe Landeskog fan than me. And I want him to play well. I'm rooting for him, and let me make this clear, by no means am I giving up on him. But if I am simply going to assess his play over the past few games, yeah, it's been okay.
Yeah, he was your worst 5-on-5 forward tonight.
It checks out. But at least he did make a couple plays, like he did.
I'm not panicking. I'm just stating what the data says.
And you can see it. It's the numbers check it out. You can see it when you watch. But
it's funny. The numbers don't show that tonight. Like it shows you that at 5-on-5, that line of Drury, Landeskog, and Olofsson was like far and away your worst defensive line. Like they just had chance after chance after chance go against them. And maybe it's because the Avs had so many power plays early on that those guys are just getting fed with 5-on-5 minutes. Maybe they got paired a little bit with I thought the defensive pairing of Burns and Manson struggled mightily this evening. Maybe they got paired with that defensive pairing, and that's not really great having a not necessarily fleet of foot D pairing alongside a not necessarily fleet of foot Gabe Landeskog at this point. I'm not saying shut him down. I'm not saying he's a waste of space or a waste of $7 million. Far from it. I'm just saying this is a work in progress. And yeah, I think he needs some touches on power play to get him some confidence. I think he needs some touches next to Nate to get him some confidence. But what you don't want to do is break up what McKinnon, Lehkonen, and Natchez are doing. Maybe if those guys go cold, then you go, hey, Gabe, get on up here. Go take a seat next to Nate and play for a bit, but you can't break 62, 29, and 88 up until they start sucking, because right now they're one of the best lines in hockey.
No, I mean, I vibe with the idea of putting him in positions to get him into a rhythm. I get that. But they did take him off of the second line because, look, Valeri Nichushkin's been on a heater.
Yep.
And that can help spark you. Brock Nelson played another good game tonight. So now Brock's starting to play well. They put him on the third line because he was, until Nelson heated up, the one who was kind of holding that line down. And it pains me to say that. Now, look, they are managing his minutes, okay? They know. The coaching staff knows, like 12.50 for Landeskog tonight. They know he has a ceiling on how much he can play. And they probably want to help. Part of it probably isn't even his play. It's just they want to play Nichushkin more. They want to play Nelson more. They need somebody who can go more for longer stretches with that second line.
But you also got to understand that, like, he's going to make Team Sweden, and he's going to play for the Swedes, man. Those are extra games that you don't necessarily want that dude playing if you're Chris McFarland and Jared Bednar. You have to worry about that.
But fair point, like 100% fair point. Maybe because the rest of the team is clicking so much, you can slow play this thing. You can hide him a little bit, maybe. And we're a ways away from that. That's in February, but maybe that could actually be perfect timing. In terms
That's
of
your ramp up.
What if, him playing for his home country, and after he gets a few months of now he's back under his belt, and now he's playing in the Olympics, if that sparks him a little bit heading into March and April. But
yeah, I don't care how he plays in October. I couldn't give two shits.
Exactly.
About
so you slow play him now.
28.
You manage him right now and for the coming months.
Oh, man, it's what a start to the season. 6-1-4. You got 16 points. You are currently number one in the West, tied with Utah at 16 points. The Eastern Conference right now is being led by the New Jersey Devils, who you beat in regulation tonight. That's just the second regulation loss that Jersey has suffered all season. They've got an 800 points percentage right now. It's a good start to the season for a team that was just clipping at 10% on the power play, man. Like this is a good start. Like it's very clear that there are certain things that aren't working, and they're trying to open up those boxes. They're trying to figure out those puzzles. And even when they're trying to figure them out, they're still making great ground in the West. Like last year when they were trying to do this, when they were trying to figure out all this shit, they were being passed up by other teams. They were already chasing other teams. They're trying to figure it out, and they're at the top of the league. Those are some really, really solid first world problems right now. Like the sky is not falling.
Oh yeah, and you've done all of this because you've been largely healthy. Sam Girard skated today, so his return could be in the next week or two. Logan O'Connor, maybe a month, but Kiviranta, the other player, out. So it's not like Girard's your most impactful player who's been out. O'Connor does a lot of really good things. You can live with that. Like you can live with that all day from a skater perspective, forward and D. You've done all this without Blackwood. So shout out to Scott Wedgwood.
Crazy. Isn't that nuts, man? You've done all of this without your starter.
And now he's coming back. And here we leave tonight. Utah finally lost in Edmonton. They had a 3-2 lead, but then, you're if you're Utah, like you were gonna fall. And in Edmonton, like, yeah, that was the perfect time to come. I'm not going to say come back down to earth because on tiebreaker, they're leading the Central still, but there's no games in hand anymore. Both Utah and Colorado have played 11 games each. Both have 16 points. Vegas had a nice win in Carolina tonight. They do have a game in hand in terms of the West overall, 10 games for Vegas, but they're a point back of Utah and Colorado at 15 points. That's next for Colorado. That's Friday night. It's Nevada Day. It's in Vegas, and that's a nice win for Vegas tonight in Colorado. And I'm thinking, I know that they have San Jose on Saturday, and Blackwood's a former Shark, but you fucking throw Blackwood out there against Vegas.
I'm throwing Blackie against Vegas 100%.
And this is really, these are two of the best four teams, and the four best teams are not only in the West, they're in the whole NHL. They're in the West. This Eastern Conference, because of these Panthers injuries, leaves something to be desired.
Yeah, like who's real in the East right now? So is Detroit is leading the Atlantic. Is Detroit real?
No.
Montreal is tied at the top of the Atlantic. Is Montreal real?
I like Montreal a little better than Detroit. I like Montreal, but no.
As do I.
They're not real in terms of a
contender.
contender. Yes.
New Jersey leading the Metro. Real?
No.
What?
Jack Hughes. In terms of winning a cup, I will eat a shoe. The old sports radio.
Name 3 better teams in the Eastern Conference than New Jersey right now.
New Jersey might be the best team. I would say Carolina.
I can put Carolina and Florida up there for sure.
Look,
better than New
Florida.
Jersey.
Look,
Name
Florida.
a third.
If they had Kachuk and Barkov, call the race right now. Florida's the best team in the East.
Florida and Carolina, I can put ahead of them. Name a third team in the East that's better than them.
Yeah, I would go New Jersey. I think New Jersey's more advanced. Montreal is pesky as fuck. I don't know, man. When you're talking about the medal to win a cup, though, the only team in the East that has it is Florida if they're healthy. And even when they get Kachuk back, and I'm sure they'll be a playoff team, but you got to have Barkov too. So the East right now, to me,
and we forget how close Florida has been. I know they've won 2 straight cups. They have come within a goal of getting bounced in the second round each of the last 2 years.
But they know how to win. They're physical. They're tough.
I'm not right. I'm not saying that it just happens. But
no,
the difference between having Sasha Barkov and not having Sasha Barkov could be like you lose to Boston 2 years ago, or last year you lose to Tampa instead of beating them.
Yeah, or
I thought it was Tampa last year.
Or it might have been. I can't remember. But now you're playing 7-game series like Colorado and Dallas did in the first round. And if they get back to the Cup Finals, even without Barkov, they'll have played more games. They'll be more gassed. I don't know. I don't see an Eastern Conference team right now.
Last year it was the second round, the 7-game win over Toronto. And the year prior, spring for Florida, it was a second round 6-game win over Boston, but 2 of those games were really close. Yeah, dude, it's missing that one player is everything.
It's huge. It's huge. You see it in the playoffs. It's and I'm not talking about any team. When you're without, it's huge. It's huge. Right now, I'd say Carolina's the most complete team.
Yeah.
But even then,
right? They don't have the X factor, right? New Jersey has the Jack Hughes X factor, the guy that can turn a series or turn a game just by being 100-point dude. Carolina doesn't have that guy, right? That's been my gripe with them for the better part of this decade. Has been go find a player who can win you a series. Because that's very clearly what you're missing. They still don't have that guy, man. They still don't have it.
Nope. So to me, it's the 4 in the West: Colorado, Dallas, the team they're playing on Friday, Vegas, and Edmonton. Those are your 4.
Yeah, the best teams in hockey are in the West, if not in the Central.
Dude, the Central itself. Oh my gosh!
It's an absolute joke. The fact that there are only going to be 5 at most, 5 teams in the Central that make the playoffs is a joke.
Yeah. Chicago is 5-3-2. Minnesota will pick it up. St. Louis, and both Minnesota and St. Louis, like Detroit has just been feasting off St. Louis the past couple games. St. Louis is better than this. The whole division, Bandit says, what about Utah? Tip of the cap. All the respect in the world.
They were my team to be the 8th seed in the West this year. That was in our preview.
Yes,
season.
They're not winning a cup. It's too soon for them. They're not going to win a cup. No way.
Guru brings up a really good point. Calgary's already talking about trading Nazem Kadri because Calgary, that what a dumpster fire the Calgary Flames are. You know what I could see Calgary doing? They don't have their centerman. They don't have their two-way guy. I could see Florida trading for Nazem Kadri.
Oh, that's a great call. That's an interesting call. It's a great fit because Florida is still even because Kachuk, as long as they're a playoff team and Kachuk is playing, that still might make them the best team in the East. I don't know if it makes them the best team in the league without Barkov. But Kadri does kind of fill that void. Kind of.
He fills it a little bit, man. They don't have a first-round pick until 2028. So they have a first in 28, they have a first in 29. Would a first-round pick in the latter half of this decade, or a couple of first-round picks in the latter half of this decade, I don't think it would take multiple. But because it's not like next year or the year after for Calgary, like, could you make it work? But then if we're talking about like 2 years down the road, that's when Colorado comes back into the equation in terms of being able to deal top picks, right? So the Avs have 2027 and 2028. They can ship their first round draft picks off if they want to, but I mean, they famously haven't selected in the first round in many of their past 7 seasons.
That would be it would be a rematch of 96, and it would also be Nazem Kadri on the other side against the Avs. And I mean, could you imagine Naz and Matthew Tkachuk on the same team? That would piss some people.
He's a Florida Panther player, man. He is a Panther player through and through. Paul Maurice would fucking love that guy.
You know what?
Paul Maurice would be so excited to coach Naz Kadri.
And hey, I see in the chat, bring Kadri back to Colorado. It's funny that now his $7 million is not as big of a deal, but
screw it. Like, you want to give up the 2027 first for Calgary and say, hey, here's our first round pick 2 years from now. If you retain $3 million of his salary, you can have him.
You could. Where are you playing Nas? I mean, now if Jack Drury is your 4C, holy shit, because Jack's been great. You could play Nas on the wing.
You'd play Colton on the wing like you did today.
Yeah, exactly. But a lot of it to me was like if they were going to make a big move, and I know Kadri $7 million isn't crazy anymore, but it was just kind of like, does Marty Necas pass the test and earn his money? And he has. So I don't know what your trade chips really are, because if Necas is playing like this, then you actually kind of are. You're not like a elite set, but you're pretty damn fucking set if Necas is going to play like this.
I mean, I think the way that the Avs are constituted, like come Friday, right? The lineup that they play on Friday, if Blackwood is playing, I think that is one of 5 rosters in the NHL right now that have a legit shot at winning a cup. That roster that you'll see Friday night. And
I
feel comfortable testing that. Yeah. They might not win it, but like I would put that up against anyone.
I mean, if you're acquiring Kadri, then you'd have to you're taking a hit elsewhere. Like, are you giving up Sam Girard? That would be the guy, because of $5 million is close to 7.
It'd be Girard in a first. It'd be Colton in a first, because then you're gonna have to ask for a little bit of retention coming back. Yeah, it would be something like that.
Yeah. And I know they played well without Girard, but the playoffs are a different beast. You want to be, I gave credit to Jack Ashan, and even Solovyov has played well, but you want to be as stacked as possible defensively. And Gerard helps with that. Spare
He
me to
does.
talk about his size and all that.
No, he does. I think having Gerard on the roster with the added size that they brought in with
Brent
Burns
Burns.
and Solovyov, and you added size like to combat what was a small blue line. There's no two ways about it. The Avs were a small blue line, and it hurt them. I think when you bring in size that allows you to play smaller players, more puck movers alongside them. So like Gerard, when he's on the ice with a good Josh Manson, is a delightful pairing. When he's on the ice with a bad Josh Manson, it's a nightmare. But when they're both buzzing, that's a really, really good second unit because Josh knows net front's mine. Like net front's mine, get the puck to 49, and he's a walking breakout by himself. But it's when it's when you pair Malinsky and Gerard. It's when you pair, Gerard and Kale together. Even though Kale's great, like you just don't have all of the range. I think going out into the offseason and getting deeper and bigger allows you to utilize Gerard in a way, way better instance.
Yeah, and now that, Olofsson is playing how we had hoped he would play, and Drury's playing great, and even a Gavin Brindley is a nice little addition. The forward spot is not a concern, and you got O'Connor's coming back. Kiviranta is a good fourth line player. So the bottom six it's better than I expected. Dudes have stepped up and played to the best of their abilities in a best case scenario type way.
Yeah. I see another question before we get out of here. Do you give up Nelson for Naz? No, I don't at this point in their careers. I love Nazem Kadri. I think a lot of Nazem Kadri is the remember when. It's the graduation goggles looking at Naz. I still think he's a very good player. I think Brock Nelson at this point in both of their careers is a more dangerous player and a more dangerous scorer, even though he's a little bit snake bitten in his time here in Colorado. I think he's more versatile. I like his size. I like his ability in the draw just as much as Kadri's. Sure, do you miss Kadri's fuck you mentality a little bit? Yes, but I don't think Nelson misses that. I don't think he shies away from physical play at all. I like Nelson just in a vacuum. If you were to give me both players, I would probably take Brock Nelson over Nazem Kadri just as who's the better player.
It's close. Like Nas is he's putting up numbers in Calgary. I don't know what his numbers look like this year, but last year and the year before, he had a good year. He had a couple good years. And he's got like nothing around him too.
I think he's big fish, small pond there.
It could be that. And you mentioned the fuck you. Like he's got that more than Nelson, but also like I'd say if you were just to match their careers, Nelson's had the better career. He has the size. Nas isn't small, but Brock is bigger. And I do think that Brock is
Kadri's
starting
got 8
to.
points.
What was that?
8 points
this year.
Yep.
It's a little better than Brock, but not great. Granted, he's got no help. Granted, he should be stacking because someone's got to, put up points for that team. And Nas is your number.
What's Nelson got? 3 right now. He's not doing much. Like,
but it's the last few games. It's been, but that's kind of what I was going to say. Is Brock Nelson hasn't even played one full season with this team yet. I think it will start to click as we progress. But it's close. It's real. Nas is a damn good player, man.
Sure is. All right, Spring, time to get out of here, man. Avs win. They'll be in Vegas on Friday evening. That's going to be a hell of a hockey game. I think it's a measuring stick game, and I hope to God that they throw Mackenzie Blackwood out there against the Vegas Golden Knights. It should be a really fun one to watch. At that point, it's probably the 2 best teams in the Western Conference at this point going at it. But Avs get a big win, 8-4. They double up the best team in the National Hockey League on October 28th. 8-4. They score 4 goals on 6 power play opportunities against the best penalty kill team in the league in those New Jersey Devils. But that'll do it for us, man. For Mark Springer, I'm Alex Ryan Emmy. Thanks for listening Between the Pipes, guys. Love you. We'll see you on Friday.